Hi, my name is Giovanni Rufino. This is my presentation of learning for MPX 10. The story I chose is a made-up story, and it's called The Story of Dorito Chip and His Quest for the Scrumptious Bone. So Dorito Chip is a main character in the story, and every year if he achieves certain learner profiles and behaves properly, he'll get a scrumptious bone. He has two owners, Mama Napoleon and Papa Greg. They're a divorced couple, so every week Dorito stays at a different house. The first thing Dorito did was with Papa Greg. At the UH Lowy, Dorito Chip was able to improve upon the learner profile of nurture, sustain, and steward the environment and community in which they live. So, Dorito Chip learned that by helping to unclog the stream and to get all the nasty stuff out of the Lowy, he's able to restore it, which helped to preserve the Lowy, which is a sustainable source of food. Some of the challenges that Dorito faced was originally he didn't want to get his paws all dirty, so he kind of stayed on the bank of the stream and didn't really go all in it to get all this stuff out. But then as time went on, he was able to improve upon this, and he was able to just go all in the stream and just get way more stuff out of the river. Dorito Chip had lots of fun while working on this project, and he was having a good time being able to play a part in his community. After hard days of work, Dorito Chip went back home. He's very tired and exhausted, and he couldn't wait to go back to Mama Napoleon's house. At Mama Napoleon's house, she picked him up, and he let out an excited bark. Ruff, ruff. Dorito is such a good dog, and he always worked on his homework. One of the homework assignments he had to do was to make a Photoshop poster and an essay explaining why the current status of Native Americans are able or unable to achieve the American dream. By doing this project, he was able to communicate effectively using multiple mediums: spoken, written, artistic, and digital. He was able to do this because he communicated effectively and clearly portrayed the message of his topic and communicated through different mediums such as Photoshop, which is artistic and digital, and his essay, which is a written medium. Dorito Chip learned that by displaying work in multiple mediums, he's able to better understand the topic that he's trying to convey. However, some of the challenges Dorito faced while working on this project was he didn't really do a lot of research to begin with. So the Photoshop project and the essay, they have the same message, but they use different pictures and facts to support them, making it kind of, it wasn't showing the same pictures and facts, but it was just showing the same overall message. You can improve upon this by doing more research to begin with, so that the focal point and little details all match up throughout those different mediums. Meanwhile, at Papa Greg's house, Dorito was relaxing, watching some TV, while he saw an ad about palm oil. The ad was talking about the palm oil industry and how evil it was for all the little animals in Sumatra and Indonesia. The palm oil industry was causing deforestation and habitat loss for all his little animal friends. Dorito Chip found that there is even palm oil in his dog food. This made him want to team up with his best friend Mason and create a zoo banner that would be shown at the Honolulu Zoo to demonstrate why palm oil is so bad for the environment. While creating the zoo banner, Dorito was having a very frustrating time and getting kind of irritated while working on this project because he couldn't find the right layout that he needed to use to make this zoo banner really stand out and look how he wanted it to. So he had to maintain a positive mindset and belief in the value of persistence in learning, because he couldn't give up, because he knew what he was doing was very important. So with the help of his friend Mason, they came up with a whole new layout, and the layout worked perfect because Dorito believed that not giving up on learning was very important, which helped him to create a very interesting and informative zoo banner. So that's the end product, and this is the before product. Some of the challenges that Dorito faced was he's kind of getting very irritated because he kept on having to redo his zoo banner, and Papa Greg didn't really like it at the beginning. So he kind of had to improve upon this by having some patience and finding some inner peace. And he could work on this by maybe meditating or just taking a mental break. Okay. Oh.
I don't know.
On
Press
bottom.
the back arrow. Press the back arrow. One more.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, next, at Mama Napoleon's house, Mama Napoleon was having an exhibition where Dorito and all of his classmates could display their work that they've completed this year. And at the exhibition, they had to kind of have a presentation that they needed to rehearse. And before the exhibition, Dorito Chip was able to look at all his other classmates' projects and be able to self-assess how well he thought he was progressing as a student compared to all of his friends by comparing his work to theirs. He's able to communicate the quality of his learning to others formally by using the rehearse presentation that he came up with to present to teachers and parents who were coming to look at what the kids have done over the course of this semester. And he was also able to communicate informally by telling his friends about the projects before the actual exhibition started. Some of the challenges that Dorito had faced was he didn't really want to present to that many people, so he's kind of shy, and he could improve upon this by stepping out of his comfort zone and present to more people, which would allow him to communicate to more people why he was progressing as a learner. Dorito Chip did such a good job that he got to eat some of Mama Napoleon's delicious homemade cookies. With 4 learner profiles completed and 1 left to go, Dorito Chip was relaxing with his stomach all full, sitting on the couch, listening to the radio. On the radio, he heard an emergency announcement from the weather forecaster talking about Hurricane Lane. Hurricane Lane was a Category 4 hurricane, and it was scheduled to hit Oahu with over 100-mile-per-hour winds and torrential rains. This got Dorito wondering whether or not that the wooden house he was staying in would be able to withstand the forces of Hurricane Lane. With the help of his animal pals, Jack and Tasia, they created a podcast explaining the upsides and downsides of a wooden house versus a concrete house. In the podcast, Dorito Chip was able to improve upon the learner profile of applying creativity and imagination to problem solving. Dorito Chip did this by being able to apply creativity to make the podcast sound interesting and using his imagination to determine what he wanted the podcast to sound like. So by using creativity and imagination, Dorito, with the help of Jack and Tasia, was able to problem solve, and the outcome was a great podcast. Dorito Chip learned how to think outside of the box and to think of more creative ways to talk about boring topics such as wood, like using vintage cartoon sounds or like action sounds used in like Looney Tunes and stuff like that. Some of the challenges Dorito faced in the project was sometimes his creativity would fail him and he ran into writer's block while working on his script, and he could improve upon this by maybe taking a mental break or listening to music before he got back into the project so he could just stay fully focused and opening up his creative brain and juices. And in the end, Dorito Chip behaved well enough and was able to improve upon 5 learner profiles. So at the end of the day, or at the end of the year, he got his very scrumptious bone. And Dorito Chip was supposed to represent me and my journey through MPX semester 1 this year.
Okay, any questions for Gio? Comments?
9:37.
Questions or comments?
That was good.
You're the only one to go on the right
I know,
side.
because I was only practicing on this side, and I was like, I don't want to screw it up, so
Yeah,
I just stayed
that's
on this side.
don't know, you presented well. Nervous, but you did okay.
Yeah.